Hello, Jane Fays here. It's nice to be with you again. Over the last few months, I have been playing with silicone mats and using them as a substitute for a gel plate. Now, we all know how beautiful the surface is of a gel plate, but they are quite expensive. And it does put this medium out of the reach of many people who can't afford a gel plate. So somewhere I saw someone playing with a silicone mat and it just gave me the idea. And so over the last few months I have been experimenting, and it has a very different feel, very different look, and I am trialing so many different ways. I have had some great successes and I've had some big failures as well, as I'm testing the surface and the timing and the type of paints and just so many variables that we take for granted with our gel printing because someone else has done a lot of those exploratory things for us. And so I'm trying to do that exploration and making it a little bit easier for you. So to start with, I just have a silicone baking mat, and I will put details in the description of brands and things that I'm using. And just to keep things easy, I am just using a plain black and white image. This image is actually a photograph of a silk top that I have, and I love the fabric, I love the pattern, and so I ironed it and left it very flat and put some good lighting on it, took a photo, and now I use this quite regularly in my image transfer because it is just a very strong black and white image. So I will keep it black just so that I'm going to roll down some black paint, and I am going to try to transfer it. Now, I say try because I have done hundreds of the silicone matte prints, and to be honest, I am still working it out. So while if I was doing this on a gel plate, I'd have 95% confidence that I would nail the transfer. But with the silicone matte, it is just taking that little bit more time. And yes, so let's see how we go. So putting out some black paint on this silicone mat. I'm getting my roll-off sheet ready, and I'm just spreading that out into the shape of that A4 piece of paper that I have there. And you know, this layer that goes down here, I'm still working on what thickness that needs to be. But for now, I will just roll and hope for the best in this video. So that's beginning to look quite even. And I will lay down my laser print. Now, this is a laser print on a good quality copier using genuine toner. Now, I'm just making sure there's some good contact there across the print. Again, it's hard to know how long this should be in contact. I'm still working that out, but I just thought, even for you to see my experiments, I'll put this up on YouTube and you'll be able to have a look. So let's pull the print. And that turned out pretty nicely. Some areas are clearer than others. I will show you so there's the laser print. It's pretty well covered, and you can still see the toner. If you can catch that in the light, you can see the pattern there. So that's the laser print. Pop that aside. And there is my image transferred onto a silicone baking mat. You can use pastry mats. I bought a pastry mat, but sadly it's got a whole lot of circles as guides, and I'm not a fan of those at all. So I prefer the baking mat, which doesn't have any printing on it. No brand or anything. So that's turned out pretty well. So I'm going to dry that with the hairdryer and work out what then whether I'm going to use a medium or a paint to put down my wet layer to pull the print. And then what substrate is another decision I'll be making. Now that's dry, I will give you a closer look because there's some interesting things. Over in this top corner, the print is fabulous, and there isn't a lot of just background grain, as I call it. Whereas over here, the paper on the laser print wasn't able to pick up quite as much paint there. That could have been a number, and there was a fold in my laser print, hence that little bit there. But, you know, it could have been that in some areas there was a little bit less paint, more paint, who knows, all of the above. So now that's dry, I am going to grab some paint, just a light colour, so that in the print you'll be able to see the details in the print. To pull my print, I'm going to just blend two paints on the silicone mat. The first one is quite a thick titanium white, and then I'm just going to give it a little bit of a touch of colour with the Sonja Opal. They are quite different in texture, so I'm hoping it won't be. In fact, I'm going to just squeeze out some on my palette, and that way I can do a bit of blending on that. There's not much in this one. Come on. No, there is some there. Let me put that down so I can give it a good squeeze. Okay. So I'm just getting my palette knife and giving it a bit of a sort of blend. As you can see, that titanium white is quite thick. Hopefully that will be enough to spread over my print that's on the mat. These mats are a lot cheaper than a gel plate. So if you haven't had the opportunity to buy a gel plate because of the cost of them, then maybe this is something that you can consider. I'm trying to just get an even coverage. I'm hoping that's not too thin. And I've got my substrate here to lay down. And I'll use my roller again just to make sure that it's got good contact. It's a good way to clean off your roller too, actually. And once I've now done that, I'm going to give it another burst with the hairdryer. I have a Baron here, so I'm going to give it a bit of a massage. So this is now going to sit under some books to weight it down, and this is where you need a little bit of patience as well. So I will come back in maybe an hour and restart the video, and we'll pull our print together. Okay, this has probably been an hour under some weight, and I've used a bit of the hairdryer. So let's see how the print is pulling and how clean our silicone mat is. It's pretty good. So there we go. There's our laser image transfer using the silicone baking mat. And I would say it's not as crisp at this stage, a little bit more grain than a gel plate, but that's comparing it to a perfect gel print, a laser image transfer on the gel plate. So, you know, not all of them are. So this is experimental still. I feel that I've still got a way to go as far as just weighing up all the variables that I see could be contributing to a success or fail in a print. So that's our laser image transfer on a silicone baking mat using black paint, and the toner in the laser print resists the black paint when it's put in contact with the silicone mat, and that paint stays on the plate, and the laser print lifts the remaining paint, leaving the image. It is a resist method, not really a transfer method.